Mhm. Okay, great. I think we are about to start. Welcome to the Crowd Science Seminar. The seminars cover a broad area of human AI collaboration to allow discussing past and future work, exchanging ideas, and establishing new collaborations. And although crowdsourcing is often used for producing online data, it's not the only use case. Another interesting use case is spatial crowdsourcing or feet-on-street crowdsourcing that greatly impacts the world around us. I'm happy to present Evgenii Konovalov, who is responsible for spatial crowdsourcing at Yandex. I'm happy to give the stage to the speaker.
Okay, hello everybody. Thank you, my colleague, for introduction. I'm really glad that I have a chance to share my own and especially my team's experience in feet-on-street crowdsourcing today. So this presentation will take about 40 minutes. Please feel free to ask questions because it is not a lecture. I am open to communication. And so yes, let's start then. We have been developing projects and pipelines in feet-on-street crowdsourcing more than 5 years, and using for this Toloka and our own managed crowdsourcing. Today's presentation will be only about Toloka, where we have about 10,000 monthly active users on our projects, of course, and about 1,000 daily active users. And that number of workers on our projects, they are producing about 150,000 submitted tasks each month. There you can see the list of countries. It is only country with our experience. I'm sure that Toloka have more list of workers and countries in with workers. The best part in geography here that in Russia we have workers in every city with population more than 10,000. In fact, there are about 1,000 cities like this in Russia. And so if there is a request, we know how to achieve the result even in small cities. And one more thing that in fact, my team also do a lot of online crowdsourcing projects too, and this information will be useful in the end of my presentation. So let's go next. But before I go to the next part, just in case that we are on the same page, I want to ask you, what do you think? What is it? Feet-on-street crowdsourcing? I know. Any suggestions about this description?
You can write the answers to the chat. I think it would be more productive. What do you think about it? What is the feet-on-street crowdsourcing?
Yes, you can write or talk, or if you are not in the mood, then I will answer myself. Okay. Update organization info. Maybe it's when you leave your room, Dima. You're cheating. You know, I think. Okay. Yes. So actually, in the science literature and on conferences, that type of crowdsourcing is also called spatial crowdsourcing, and I will use the term in my presentation. So please be familiar with the term. But in fact, in spatial crowdsourcing, tasks have specific attribute like a location, and some worker have to be on that location to complete the task. So each about location, it can be a city, an address, and exact coordinates, and so on. So let's go to these cases. At first, we can use spatial crowdsourcing for actualization attributes of businesses and collecting new businesses. By the way, it was the first project that we had started in spatial crowdsourcing in my team. Also, spatial crowdsourcing is applied to analytics for retail or FMCG companies. They usually get information about actual in-store prices or check where their products are placed and allocate share of shelf space and so on. So we have like couple projects in my experience and also still in like the local platform, there are a couple projects like that. And yes, it is secret shopper. For instance, we have some projects for taxi services and like commerce company. For taxi, there are performers orders a taxi, take take photos outside and inside, and like try do it without being noticed, answer a questionnaire, and then and so on. And like about shops, for instance, it is like a jewelry store where our performers like visit a branch and start a conversation based on script and like see if sales assistants follow the sales call and so on. And here, like on the last example, I want to emphasize that actually you can apply spatial crowdsourcing for many different projects about monitoring like any outdoor or indoor objects like billboards, signs, buildings, maybe pickup points, parking lots, ATMs, and so on. I could go on and on, but yes, let's just let's know that there are a lot of applications areas in of spatial crowdsourcing or feet on street crowdsourcing. So let's go to the next block, and here I would tell you what you should keep in mind when you start spatial crowdsourcing projects instead of online crowdsourcing project. But initially, let's remember or find out, it depends on your background, how in online crowdsourcing projects good quality is maintained. At first, it is control tasks, or another name for this, golden set. The sense here that you can put into the pool of tasks special control tasks, right answer on which have been known already, and that will help you control performers. Next, in online crowdsourcing, we can create educational and examinational tasks. In educational tasks, workers see special hints in case if they make mistakes, and that helps you to teach performers to do your work, to do your task right. Examinational tasks, it's like golden set, like golden control task, but are assembled in the one big pool of tasks, and it is really useful and helpful for you if you want to check quality really fast about from performers. Next, it is overlap, because in crowdsourcing, we have a huge amount of performers. It is possible to do and assign each your tasks to several workers, for instance, 3, 5 workers, and so on. And you can do it without losing velocity. So when all tasks will be completed, you can filter bad answer and have only in the end, only good one answer. Is like that process filtering a good answer is called aggregation. And the last one, it is short instruction, because a typical human and a performer in crowdsourcing platform, and let's to be honest, I am the same. So usually we don't read instructions. So the shorter instruction you have, the more chances that it will be read, and the better quality you will get finally. So returning to spatial crowdsourcing, so the trick here, alas, it is impossible or hard to use that quality, that methods and practice in spatial crowdsourcing. And next I will answer why and say what we can use instead of this and how still we can use in fact. Talking about control, examinational, and educational tasks. There are several problems. For the beginning, your data will quick to lose actuality because offline world is changing really fast. So if you know that on that exact corner, on that exact street, there are no any shops today, tomorrow it will be changed and really quickly. Next, it doesn't make sense to put that checks into the pool of spatial tasks. There is no any guarantee that worker will take it because each task allocated on the exact place, and it will be really hard, really hard to cover all workers by control tasks. In fact, generating control data for the whole this field with your tasks, usual task, it is a really huge challenge, and it I know takes a lot of working hours from your team. Solution here, we are using posterification quality control method. It means that worker will not get paid until other trusted person will not check their results. And also we can use that type of practice in spatial crowdsourcing. For instance, it is possible to create online crowdsourcing projects with trainings and exams, and you can control how your future spatial workers understand your instruction, and only passing that online crowdsourcing project, they will go to your spatial crowdsourcing project. It is possible, but usually it leads to that you will have less workers on your offline project. Overlap. So about overlap, there is a practical part that spatial crowdsourcing is expensive in comparison with online crowdsourcing. So that the overlap will make it too costly. And from other hand, we have the same problem that with control tasks here, that no any guarantees that enough worker for your overlap number on the exact location will be found in a good, appropriate for you time. Solution here, again, it is posterification, but it is a really good way to check some your hypotheses and do experiments. Here I have a story. So actually I have couple stories during my talk today. It is the first story. Once we were thinking whether we can collect business hours on organizations without proofs with photos or not. Because we're thinking like this because not every business has signs with needful information. And we have made experiments, uploaded a bunch of tasks with overlap free. After aggregating the result, we identified a lot of cases with different answer on the one exact business. It happened not only because of cheating, but also because that different workers could ask different stuff and get not the same answer. So as the result of that experiment with overlap, we understood that for us on that project, quality is more important than fullness. So we just leave only one way to bring us business hour. It is with photos of special signs. Short instruction. Unfortunately, it is impossible to make short, small instruction in usual feet on street project. Previously, I've told you that we use posterification quality control method. It means that you should write all possible cases in which submitted task could be rejected. Believe me, it is so painful getting rejection on your work, especially if you make some physical efforts to done this work. So it is better to write all possible cases of rejections right in the instruction. Also, you should write various ways to complete your tasks. For instance, let's imagine you are collecting photos on the exact business, but business could be closed, removed or not accessible and so on. And for all of these situations, performers must know what to do. So solution here using right formatting that of instruction that actually we have in templates on Taloka, or making right interface. For instance, you can create an interface where worker will do all their work step by step. In each step, they will see small part of instruction. Yes, it is possible way, but it will cost a lot of, development hours for that project. So there is an example of instruction that we have draft of that instruction in templates on Taloka. And as you see here, we have at the beginning of the instruction, small part step by step, what to do step by step. And then in blocks and that green, it is a cut, and that cuts more let's say bigger blocks of text on some possible ways. For example, if they have some problems or they can't reach organization and so on. Because yes, finally, because spatial crowdsourcing it is all about location, let's talk a little what from local specific you should keep in mind when start your own project. About weather, I have another good story from our background. It happens when we were just making our first steps in that spatial crowdsourcing world. And we, in that time, we had uploaded tasks in different cities and started our project. After a couple of days, we saw that in every city except one, there are about 10 or 20% completed tasks. But in that one, we have, I don't know, there is only 1 or 2%, something like this. So we started promoting the project in that city. We raised prices, we wrote messages to workers, and but after a couple of days more, nothing changed. No, and at that moment we thought, okay, then summer has just started. It was during the early days of June. Let's raise prices more, make push notifications, write new messages with text like, hey, it's summer, nice weather, go walk and earn money. But after a couple of days more, nothing changed again. And unfortunately, only after that way, one member of our team decided to check news from the city, and picture looked like this in the city news. So literally workers and couldn't do our tasks and working and earning money, and weather wasn't really good. So I hope that story will help you not to forget about local specific in cities, and especially about weather, how it still helps us. Here, next block, here you can see the map with tasks on that map. It is like the map of one city. Green means completed tasks. Blue means unfulfilled tasks. It is a typical picture after first days running projects. It happens because in downtown there are more people who can do tasks while they are walking by some their stuff like work. Maybe they go just walk or eat some food in a restaurant and so on. So literally, the tasks in downtown more convenient for people, for typical workers than other tasks. And if you want to finish more tasks quickly, you should make that task convenient to performers too. How we can do it? For instance, we can raise price more or upload more tasks in that field. Because it is really important to performers and to success of your project have some I don't know, density of tasks or density of earnings on some allocation, because it is that attract users on your project. And there is a small list of other specifics. So the tasks like just take photos complete faster, because typical workers don't like talking with other people or texting a lot in mobile, especially in winter, yes, when it's cold for your fingers. And if you want to do something unusual with project interface that not include interlocal templates or local template builders, keep in mind when you will be developing that people have a huge amount of mobile devices. It's some various mobile devices with different operating systems and so on, and something don't work good for some users. No, it is again it is typical for mobile developing, so we have the same story here. And I will repeat that about last point, that be as attentive as possible making rejections of tasks, and don't make users sad, please. Now, again, story. I promised you some stories, and it is the next. It is a story based on our experience, and I will answer you why making smaller project is better than one big project. It is a story according on project about collecting attributes on organizations. At first, we had created only one project where workers have done a lot of different things, like taking photos, write some text for all attributes of organization, and so on. The project was with Posterification. Unfortunately, I don't have screenshots of interface since it was long ago, but I have a couple of screenshots later in my presentation on next pages. So in that project, we were collecting name of organization, like address and coordinates of entrance, business hours, and facades photo. But sometimes, unfortunately, more than we wanted, occurred a situation like this. Imagine that worker could do everything correct for taking name of organization, like according to instruction. The same for address and coordinates. They could, I don't know, take absolutely good facades photos, but by some reason, no any photos with business hours without justifications. And it was against our instruction. Maybe they just forgot to attach the photos, so we don't know. I remember that we have Posterification, so the question here, for us, was whether we need to accept that tasks and pay money for worker or not. It is a really hard question because, in fact, there are no any right answers on that question. In fact, yes, worker broke the rules and instruction, but also they done a lot of work. So it is only the last example of the most obvious. It is only one example, sorry, of the most obvious problem. And as a result, we have created 3 different plain projects. First, it was, sorry for Russian screenshots. I will translate that screenshot for you later. So one project for collecting good facades photo, one distinct project for collecting coordinates, and another one for collecting business hours. Like here in colored blocks, there are written name of projects. And for instance, in pink one, there is written business hours of organizations. And in that case, forget to attach photos with business hours in project with name business hours of organizations. It became to be really difficult. In fact, right now there is no possible ways not to attach any photos, but still if you do project with name, small project with name, and you really understand what you will do just by that name, it really helps. After I have some statistics what we have before decomposition our project and after. Here, what we have 3 columns. First column, it is summary price, what we paid for all projects. Second column, it is fraction of rejected tasks. And the last one, monthly active users. And here we see that fraction of rejected tasks decreased. Monthly active users, I could say, jumped from the last one, from one project, and summary price decreased too. So it is most not obvious, not clear place for new people who just started work with crowdsourcing, because from the beginning they are thinking that if they will make 3 or I don't know whatever number project instead of one project, they will pay more. But no, in fact, you will pay less money for all of that. Like in summary, in sums, you will pay less money. It works because how usual market works, supply and demand. So if you have a lot of workers, that it means they compete with each other for your project, and you don't need to like keep your price really high. And why you have so like I know a lot of workers? Because it is really easy to start your project. It is small project, and also you have less fraction of rejection. So it is all connection with each other. So what's the result of decomposition? And maybe what I want to know you that be free to make decomposition. It really works good for your project. And the last part of my talk here, I will show you our usual human in the loop pipeline, how we work with spatial crowdsourcing project, and also I will tell you why it is really good. Like if you want to create really scalable project, it is really good to use not only offline projects, but also online crowdsourcing projects in your pipeline. Let's go. So what we have here, in the left upper corner, we have our Feet on Street project. In the right lower corner, we have the result of our pipeline. In a Spatial project, it is again a project about collecting attributes. And here we have 3 simple, so in that project, worker should do 3 simple things: come to exact location, check if there is a business, and collect acquired information doing some photos. So that project with Posterification quality control method. And like we, on our side, we have process that takes every hour submitted tasks for that last hour and sends the tasks to some automatical validations and checks. At first, we are checking coordinates from user at the moment when they are submitting task, and from coordinates from photos. Then we have some checks using APIs about like, is it real photo, or maybe it is not new photo from maybe internet, or panoramas from some map services and so on. And in fact, we have like more that validations in our process, but like just for safety reason, I will not like show them here, that validations. If something wrong in the checks, we immediately reject the task. If everything is okay, we will go to the next part. And here we have like 2 ways. If business exists and worker could find that organization, and if worker couldn't. So let's go to by Yes way. And here we have next like online crowdsourcing projects where Talokers, it's how we call it our workers on the local platform. They rewrite attributes information from photos. If by some reason, for instance, photos not really good quality, we will reject tasks. If everything okay, then our pipeline go to the next stage. By some time, like after some time, when you rewrite information from photo, you can collect enough data to train some computer vision model and so on. So it is how in our pipeline happened. We have computer vision model and we can describe some attributes automatically just using this computer vision model. And then after computer vision, we have last like in that way online crowdsourcing project because our requester, it is Yandex Maps, they want to show as many photos on their service as possible. We have special project online project where workers check how good photos to be shown on maps on service map. So let's return to the way no way. There we have couple projects, also online project where online workers check are workers really were on the exact place, and if there is really no any businesses that we try to find. So if something wrong, we reject task. If everything okay, by all ways, we send that information to Yandex Maps to service and accept task and pay money to performers. Just some additional information here that yes, the GPS block. In fact, you don't need to create your special process for this right now because it is possible to do this validation right from your project in Taloka. So it is easier right now to do this. Then I want to emphasize this online crowdsourcing projects. So why? In fact, the quality on these online crowdsourcing projects, it is literally the quality of your spatial projects. And it is really good since achieve good quality in spatial projects by its own, it is more harder than inline projects. In fact, online projects, as I mentioned in the start of my presentation, they have really good ways how to control quality. And the last one here, if you watched carefully, you could notice that here we don't have rejection way, because it is just additional info that we take from spatial projects. It is not main aim goal of that spatial project, and we don't need to reject tasks to our to worker. So it of course don't be afraid from this human zero pipeline, because it is a perfect pipeline. Yes, if you just want to create small project, do small experiment, just go to Taloka and do it, because in Taloka there is a really good interface to making posterification. So you can just open especially just from the log interface, go to submit a task, see all information from the task, and decide accept the task or reject. So in case if you just want to try, just make some small experiments, it is easy to do without all that pipeline. I don't know, do you have any questions on that pipeline? Because next I have only a last summary page.
I have a question about the last step in which you show the photos on the map.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you align the original photos with the maybe panoramas, or what are these photos?
So do you mean about that? Can we show the map?
Mm-hmm.
Map?
Yeah.
And can you like repeat your question, because maybe I am not clear understand you, or you not clear understand me. Right?
Yeah, my question was, you show the map and you show the original photo, right? And you...
No. Yes, it is a project where worker decided, can we show that photo on Yandex map service? So it means, is it like really good photos according by some instruction or not?
Okay.
It's clear?
Yeah. And before we continue, do we have more questions about it?
Wheels and feet on streets.
If we have, so I believe during the discussion after your talk, we will be able to go back here. So that's fine. Please go ahead.
Yes. Let's go to summary. It's like here it is like just maybe summary how perfect spatial projects should look like. Of course, from worker sides, and for you as a requester to have a really good velocity on your project. So at first, as I mentioned before, your project and your tasks on your project should be in convenient place or with good price, like to make the task convenient by price for workers. Here, workers in that project should just take photos or choose maybe some answers and not texting a lot of data or not talking with performance. Of course, you can do this, but you will have less workers. As I said a lot of times about posterification mechanism, yes, and clear instructions with clear cases for rejections. And the last one, it is really important to answer questions and appeals from workers because believe me, you can't maybe predict all possible ways or possible things that could happen in like real world, and maybe worker really, I don't know, couldn't do your tasks because by some reason, but you reject tasks and they can write you some message. So, and according to that message, it is really a good way to like re-accept the tasks and maybe pay some bonuses for them. And it is not on that slide, yes, but I know that it is really most asked question about like how make right maybe price for spatial crowdsourcing tasks. Here, in fact, we done some research. We were doing this research according to our like tasks in all cities, in all countries where our tasks have. And according to that tasks, we found out that average income for which the performers are ready to work per hour, the same as average like salary in like McDonald's per hour for some started their position. And it is a really good landmark because it is really easy to find information about average salary in McDonald's per hour, I think in the most cities. And after then, you just need to calculate, at least estimate, according to density of task, according to how hard your project, how many tasks it is possible to do per hour, and like from that calculate price for your tasks. Okay, yes, it is all from my part. Maybe questions or something else.
Questions might be asked in the chat, or you can jump in and ask questions using your microphone. So just to kick in discussion, I have a few questions about the task design for spatial tasks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the first half of your talk, you showed an instruction. And
instruction, yeah, this one?
Yeah, this one. And I believe that you had a few iterations while you came up with such an instruction, because, well, I see that a lot of things could go wrong in spatial tasks. And how many iterations you have to make such an instruction?
Oof. I don't remember about iterations. Maybe we will come to this, instruction after a couple years. So honestly, yes, our first steps, because there are no any information, there like weren't no any information in internet in that times about spatial crowdsourcing projects, at least opened information. So we do just how we think, we did how we thought at that moment. Yes, couple years, I think, and I am really glad that our work at that moment, you can see this on templates on Taloka, and it happens honestly maybe 1 year past maybe ago. I mean, because before that moment we have just that experience in our side, but then you can use it just in Taloka.
And there is a question in the chat. Let me read it out loud. So, do you have a story of the worst case of spatial task when everything went wrong?
Everything went wrong. Let me think about it. So I can't maybe say that everything went wrong, because in fact we finally come to some decision and how to do this task, how to make interface and so on. But let me say, when I mentioned secret shopper for taxi service, we started with online crowdsourcing project, and for checking how workers understand our structure, and with spatial project where worker do this secret shop secret right, let's say. And from the beginning, we understand that this online courses project really, filtered a lot of workers who can do in good quality our spatial project, by some reason they don't want to do this online project, or they don't maybe read instruction carefully, but in fact they spatial project they will do really good. So and according to this, we put some parts of instructions in our project, spatial project, and remove online project completely. So maybe it is one of that example, because really I don't remember that everything wrong. So
yeah, that's really cool to know. And there is another question. Do secret shoppers get services or goods for free, or is this only for those who would buy anyway?
okay, yes, not for free. And here we have like some, let's say, feature like of Taloka, of the crowdsourcing platform, that in our secret shop project, we pay for the purchase our Talokers and for write, but we pay it only after when we check how good they did their work, and we can't pay like before they will do so. In fact, there is a small problem that workers should make purchase by their own money from the beginning, and then only after that they will get I don't know, paid. So it is that can also in fact leads to less number of workers on a project. But in fact, we have like enough workers for I don't know, do enough speed and velocity for requester.
Yeah, I have one more question. When it comes to the reusability of the instructions and task descriptions, how similar are spatial tasks of the same class, like, make a photo here, make a photo there, in terms of instruction and definition?
Okay, yes, good question. So it is like the templates on the same maybe class or maybe a little bit similar projects. It is reusable, and also we complete some special templates and upload it to Taloka. Yes, and you can see these templates for doing some also I don't know, some photos about objects, some maybe do some surveys, do some tasks for collecting prices. So in fact, yes, we have some several templates that we reused inside us, and also you can see it in Taloka, and we do and rise more and more that project like this. So if you have one class, like come to exact place and try to find some object, not only business. For this, we have some templates that you can reuse. Just, I don't know, fill some spaces in template.
So once it becomes a skill, you it once, you have a lot of pain at the very first time, but then it just pays off.
Yes.
Cool, very cool. Thank you very much. I believe we have no more questions in the chat. And do we have more questions maybe online, or I mean the audio questions?
Yes, may I ask a question? You said in the beginning of the presentation, and you showed slide where tasks on the map that are completed. Yes, yes. And you said that it is very important to that density of the tasks are very important. So did you try to control density, something like accumulate tasks in some location and then give this pack of tasks to people? So did you try to control density to make more motivation to go to the uptown, for example?
Okay. Actually, it is a little bit similar things, density of tasks and density of earnings. So, but according to our experience, so you can like make a really high price for your task. For instance, I don't know, couple dollars per task. But in fact, it is really, I don't know. So in fact, you can upload a lot of like tasks on some field with small prices, and as summary price, it will be less than $2, for instance. And that will lead more workers to your project, to that place. So yes, we like during to our experience, our work, we understand and found out that uploading a lot of photos in one field, it really works and really attract people. And maybe in some times it is more than high price, and it is more like good, and it is better for you as a requester also according to budget.
Okay, thank you. And one more question is, as we see, updating information about organizations is important to, for example, maps. So so Yandex is author of these tasks. Do you know cases when, for example, business or external authors went to local and made tasks when people have to go and make photo of organization or update information about it?
Okay, thank you. Yes, for instance, there are some companies so in fact, some FMCG companies, it is a company, they are producing like products for people. I don't know, some goods, and some of that company, they have their own like analytics teams, and for that analytics, they want to know all, maybe, for instance, retail chains and addresses for these retail chains. And in that project, they collected like that information. So come to some exact place, try to find that, you know, supermarket, and take some photos outside and also inside, because they do want to collect some photo of prices also, not only about that like supermarket. And also some companies, they do some secret shops for other businesses. They also do some tasks like this. Clear?
Thank you.
Yeah, there's one more question in the chat, which is, have you tried kind of dynamic pricing that depends on the density of task location?
Kind of dynamic pricing depending on density. Actually, we have some, let's say, most stupid way to do the same things, because yes, at that time we don't have enough resources to do this. We raised price like with time. So we uploaded like some tasks, then after some times we just raise price for like unfulfilled tasks. And in fact, we like during the time we make convenient or the tasks better by this time. So it's some kind of dynamic because by the time workers and performers on our platform completed more and more tasks, and density like decreased on the map. So in fact, we decreasing after that like density of earning when more and more tasks completed.
And there is one more question in the chat. Have you tried the idea of taking advantage that a performer is already in the location to assign them the task, as opposed to making the worker to go to a specific location to solve the task? I think this is also related to dynamic pricing and motivating performers to do this task, or this location-aware assignment, a default behavior already in spatial crowdsourcing. I will read this question again because it's quite long. But have you tried the idea of taking advantage that the performer is already in the location?
Yes, I see. Thank you. Really good question. So it isn't like a default behavior, but in Toloka we have in Toloka application there is a special settings like you can check some checkbox and then you will get push notifications while you're walking that near you in some distance, some special distance, there is a online tasks. We did it like this way special because right now, like Toloka, it is more about that Toloka come to project and take tasks, like not like Toloka like worker. We assign some tasks on workers, and by this way, we like if you really like some project, spatial project, you can like turn on that settings and get push notifications about all tasks near you. So it's some kind of assigned task, but not really assigned, yes. And for us, it is really like it is better at this moment because maybe worker will not go to that task if we just assign them by hour.
I think, yeah, in the chat we have thanks.
Thank you.
So I assume the question is answered. I didn't see any more questions. There was quite a good discussion today, and I really enjoyed it. I hope you too. I believe we can wait for a few more questions if they are about to be sent. And yeah, we already see thank you in the chat. I believe we can conclude the seminar. Thank you very much for your great talk. It was super special kind of spatial crowdsourcing that affects the world around us. And usually we focus a lot on filling these surveys, questionnaires, and open-ended tasks, but not in this very setting in which you perform the task in the real world by leaving your room and making some impact. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Jan, for listening. Bye.
Goodbye.